Picture this. A time when Egypt was the cradle of civilization, where pharaohs ruled the Nile and the world trembled at the feet of Cleopatra. But not all that glitters is gold. Cleopatra's rise to power was filled with twists, turns, and shocking betrayals. And her fall? Well, that might just change everything you thought you knew about this iconic queen. Hello, viewers. Welcome back to MaazZ View. Born in 69 BC, Cleopatra wasn't always destined to rule Egypt. In fact, when she came to the throne, it was chaos. A power struggle, a family feud, and that's just the beginning. Cleopatra's early life was anything but ordinary. Her father, Ptolemy XII, was a weak ruler. His reign was so unpopular that Cleopatra's throne was almost taken away before she even had a chance to rule. But Cleopatra was no ordinary princess. She had ambition and a cunning mind. She wasn't just a pretty face. Cleopatra was fluent in many languages, incredibly smart, and most importantly, she knew that to survive in the treacherous world of power, she had to be more than a ruler. She had to be a player in the political game. But just as Cleopatra began to rise, a major twist hit. Her own brother, Ptolemy XIII, turned against her, plunging Egypt into civil war. Imagine this, your own blood betraying you, seeking to tear you down. The throne wasn't a gift, it was a battle. So, what did Cleopatra do? She turned to the most powerful man in the world for help. Julius Caesar. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Cleopatra and Caesar, the most legendary couple in history. A romance that sparked political intrigue, alliances, and one of the most unexpected love stories of all time. But it wasn't just love, it was power. Together they crushed her brother's army and reclaimed her throne. But what happened next? Cleopatra wasn't satisfied with just ruling Egypt. She had bigger dreams. She wanted to rule the world. She knew that power wasn't just about politics, it was about connections. Cleopatra had a vision, and it wasn't just to be queen of Egypt. She wanted to unite Egypt with Rome, with Julius Caesar by her side. But alas, fate had a different plan. Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. Cleopatra's world crumbled. But she didn't just fall into despair. Oh no, Cleopatra had one more trick up her sleeve, and his name was Mark Antony. Cleopatra knew that she had to secure an alliance with Rome once again. Enter Mark Antony, a Roman general with his own ambitions. Together they made a power couple that shook the Roman Empire to its core. But this time, the stakes were even higher. Cleopatra wasn't just playing for Egypt anymore, she was playing for the entire Roman Empire. But here's the twist. Antony's political enemies in Rome, led by Octavian, weren't going to sit idly by while Cleopatra and Antony grew in power. And that's where everything began to unravel. A deadly game of politics, betrayal, and war that would lead to Cleopatra's tragic fall. Cleopatra's reign came to a violent and tragic end. The naval battle of Actium in 31 BC was the beginning of the end. Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, crushed Antony and Cleopatra's forces, and with it, Cleopatra's empire. Her final moments were shrouded in mystery. With Antony dead, Cleopatra knew that her reign was over. In a desperate attempt to escape the inevitable, Cleopatra took her own life, reportedly using a poisonous snake. But what really happened that day? Was her death a final act of defiance? Or was it something darker? Cleopatra, the last true ruler of Egypt, left behind a legacy filled with grandeur, beauty, and power. But her downfall? It wasn't just about her death. It was the end of an era, the final chapter of Egypt's dominance in the ancient world. Her story is one of ambition, brilliance, and ultimately tragedy. Cleopatra's rise was meteoric, but her fall was just as swift. And yet, centuries later, the world still remembers her as one of history's most remarkable women. But the real question is, what would have happened if Cleopatra had won? If her alliance with Rome had succeeded, would the world look entirely different today? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more fascinating history, and let us know in the comments. What do you think would have happened if Cleopatra had ruled the world? Could she have changed history? Join the conversation.